2006 Honda Element with the 2.4 liter engine. Starter was not working. I'm Brian Eslick from How to Automotive, and I'm going to show you how to change it. Okay, to get started, what we need to do is we need to look in the owner's manual and find the radio code, because we're going to disconnect the negative battery cable here, and when we do that, it'll lose the power to the radio, and it'll go into anti-theft mode, and it won't allow you to operate your radio unless you enter a code into it. So go ahead and retrieve that first, and then after that, go ahead and remove your negative battery cable, and then take 10mm bolts off the cover here, and take the cover. The starter is actually underneath the intake manifold, so what we need to do is get this half of the intake manifold off. So to do that, what we're going to do is start by removing the air snorkel for your air cleaner. Go ahead and remove the clamps here and here, and then pull this off and kind of set it aside. We don't need to disconnect every little thing, just set it aside. So as you can see, I took it off here and off the top here, and just unplugged whatever I needed to, a couple of those little hoses, and then just kind of flipped it out of the way and just tucked it over here on top of the battery, and it's holding it for me. So now what we're going to do is we're going to remove the 4 bolts, the 4 14mm bolts and nuts. There's on the throttle body, so you're going to need a throttle body gasket and an intake plenum gasket. So remove that and just kind of pull it and set it and tuck it over here on the side too. Don't take any of the hoses off or anything. You can take the electrical connectors off and squeeze clamps. Here's a couple of them here. Take those off, but leave all the hoses and the cables hooked up. So now that we got our throttle body tucked over to the side, this main wire loom that goes around here, it mounts right along the intake right here. Kind of got this plastic, but there's a 10mm bolt that we need to take out, and that'll free the wiring harness from there. And then you can go ahead and just remove this vacuum line here with the squeeze clamp, pull that off. So after you get all the bolts out, there's going to be a support bracket on the nose of this, right below the throttle body right here. It's going to be hard for me to show you on camera, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to unbolt it and take it out, and I'm going to show you where it's at. It's a 12mm bolt that you need to remove. So now that I got the intake off, this is the bracket I was telling you about. I had the 12mm below that I couldn't show you on camera. So you'll have to mount it down low, pretty low down here. You can see my fingers down here, way down there. So that's where the mount bracket was, and how my arm is down here. That's how I had just enough room to loosen it up. And then also on the oxygen, looks like I believe it's the oxygen sensor plugs here, or the electrical connector. I'm not sure what these are connected to. Anyways, they mount it right here, and they have a couple little squeeze tabs that you do, and you pull them off the ear here, and then you can get the intake out. Okay, so now it's time to get in here and get the starter out. And the first thing we're going to do is, this main wiring harness going across, is flip this little ear up, pull it out, so that gives you a bunch of room. Now what you can do is you want to get this little tab, you want to use some needle nose pliers and squeeze it and push this tab off the nose of the starter here. And then you can unplug your electrical connector here, flip this rubber boot up, and there's going to be a 12mm bolt underneath here. And this is where you definitely want to make sure your starter's your battery is disconnected. Because if you touch the positive voltage here in this pipe right here, you're definitely going to arc out. So just want to make sure that you got the battery disconnected. So go ahead and remove those two. Remove the 2 mounting bolts. There are 17mm here and a 14mm in the back. It's kind of a long bolt with a stud on it. So go ahead and remove those two. Okay, now that you got the mounting bolts out, go ahead and remove your starter, put your new starter in, and put the mounting bolts back in and tighten them down. Get your mounting bolts on and tight. Go ahead and put your electrical connectors on and tighten those down and plug it back in. Now you can go ahead and put your manifold back on, start the bottom bolt, and then start on the top and torque these down. Then after that, you can put a new gasket on your throttle body and slip your throttle body on, and start connecting all your electrical connectors back in. So when you tighten these bolts, you want to start in the middle and go here, and then in, out, and then like that, and torque them down. And then plug your wiring back in here and remount the 10mm that held the wiring harness back on. Then you can slip your throttle body on, and you can put this bracket back on and bolt those all down and re-secure your wire harness to it. Also in the throttle cables here, they might have popped out. If you can see, mine popped out of the little grooves it's in, so you might want to reroute that. And also when you want to check your throttle operation with the pedal, and make sure everything works the way it's supposed to before you start the car and drive it. Okay, make sure you, after you get all your everything plugged back in, just now you want to reroute all your wire loom stuff and plug in all your hoses. And once all that's all plugged in, then you can reinstall your snorkel boot on the throttle body here and tighten those clamps down. After you got the air snorkel here all secure, go ahead and put on the engine cover and remount that down, bolt that down. Then now you're ready to hook up your negative battery cable and tighten that down. Give it a start and make sure everything works. And then after that, you'll most likely have to reset the code for the radio. And that pretty much completes the starter install on a 2006 Honda Element. I'm Brian Eslick from How To Automotive, and I'd like to thank you guys for watching my videos. And as always, it's my pleasure sharing my experience with you. And I'd like to remind you to subscribe. Thank you.